Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Model Bench, and here we are now, part 13 of this lovely Airfix Alvis Stalwart. And as you know, if you've seen previous videos, I'm using some of the inside the armour sets with it. In part 12, we fitted these roof grills, which look fantastic compared to the original plastic mouldings. And if you remember, I said I was going to see if I could get these drive units for the amphibious bit. You know, they're in here. The plastic parts are a lot more chunky than these, so I wanted to try and get those on if I could. And what I did, I went in with some the Mr. Tool Cleaner I'm using, as recommended by Moss, and just dissolved it and just levered them off, and off they came. So now we can put those on. So now we need to look at how we're going to get them out of here. Some people, particularly newer modelers, do struggle with getting these parts out. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove this frame, and just basically with my little plastic cutters, these are old ones, they're not new ones. I wouldn't use new ones because this resin can be quite hard and you might damage the nice sharp point of your new ones. So we can cut that away there, and then we can break that away there. Okay, so now you can see we can get in from the side. Now these tools are going to get fitted in the back. Do I want to take those off now? I don't know, do I? Or not? Maybe see if I can get these out without touching those tools. I like to try and leave everything on the fret as much as I can with the 3D printed stuff, because there does tend to be some very, very fragile parts, and they can be easily damaged. Like this mesh here, you can see this is already damaged. But it just shows as a quality control from inside the armour, they actually gave me another mesh there, which is really good. Nice to see they're picking up on that sort of thing. So let's just see if I can get in here and remove this without touching those tools. I think I probably can. And the other thing is, these actual supports are all on the back of the part. So maybe I can get in there with a knife and just literally slice through those supports. And then break it off. There we go, off it comes. So I can do the same in here. We're going to cut through those. Basically what I'm trying to do is avoid removing these tools. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it on this one. We are getting through it. There we go. So that's the thick ones. I'm not sure if I can get my cutters in there. No, I can't. So I think I may have to remove those tools to get this one out, which is a shame. Unless I can come in from here. No, it looks like, unless I can get in there with a rule and just break it away, because it's on the back and it is quite strong. No. It looks like I'm going to have to remove these tools, so that's a shame. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting the top of this one actually, because if I cut the bottom first, it may well break the top of the shovel off. So we'll cut that handle away there, and then cut that one, cut that one, and then we've got a tiny little one at the back here. Oh, there's a second one. I was worried that shovel was going to fly off then. There we go, there's our shovel off. And then I'm going to come in from the back here. Let's see what we can cut off here. There's actually nothing connecting that one up there. Get in there and cut that one off. And then we'll get in the back and cut the bottom one off. And then that one. And then there's another one in the back there. There we go, that's that off. So now we can get in and remove these bits in here. It's always a chore, guys. It's never fun getting 3D printed parts off. Some are easier than others. Some manufacturers give you very large contact points, some give you very small. These on here are very small, so they just break off, as you saw earlier. But you can see there, like that one there on the side of that pick, sorry. It's absolutely tiny, so it'll just cut away or break away easily. So what I'm going to do here is put those tools in the box. so they don't get damaged or lost. Okay, and then I think we'll put this back in the box as well. Okay, and then we can concentrate on cleaning these up and fitting them. So you can see we've got the vanes on this face, we've got the drive on the back, and then on the back here we've got some little areas. You can see there where the connectors were. So we can sand that away like so. There we go, that's that gone. And then we're going to have some more. I think that's it actually. Yep, that's it. Okay, and we can see we've got some excess on here, so we're going to cut that off of there. Cut that off of there. And then we've got something there, and we've got something there, so we can just sand that away. I should be wearing a mask really when I'm sanding this resin. There we go. So that's that cleaned up. Okay, and then they can go on. I believe they go like that. Are these done? I wonder what that is on the side, because there weren't any connectors on the sides, were there? Got some across the back of there. Just gonna get the phone. Okay, so there, that's done. That was moss on the phone. Right. So these areas are cleaned up, ready to go. So I'm going to be careful not to put it that way up. As a matter of interest as well, inside the armour, I have just released you've got the exterior set here, and they just added like a part 2, which is exhausts, mud flaps, mirrors, and what else was it? I can't remember now. But basically it's like a little add-on. So yeah, very much worth getting. So they've sent me one of those. I've actually ordered the full set for my other build, but I can now use the mirrors. I won't be able to use the exhaust on this one, it's too late. But I can use the the mirrors and whatever else is in there on this one, so that's good. Right, so I've got the VMS Ultra, the Flexi 5K black thin, and I'm using this to glue these on because it's it doesn't dry straight away. It gives you time to maneuver, which is cool. So I'm just going to put some of this on here. Okay, I don't need too much. It's going to spread around anyway. And I've had a look at some reference photos, and you may think I'm putting these on wrong, but I've looked at the reference photos and they're actually sort of halfway up this square section here. They're sort of in the middle of it. So there we go. Sort of like that. Where's my tweezers? I need to be fairly quick because it doesn't dry instantly, but it does dry fairly quick. I just want to make sure it's nice and square and sort of in the middle. Bring it down a touch, I think. So as I always say with this VMS black thin, the downside to it is it doesn't dry straight away. The upside to it is it doesn't dry straight away. So when you want a glue that doesn't dry straight away, it's brilliant. Okay, so that's gone on there now. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to let that dry. In fact, what we can do is go on and put the other side on. So we'll put some glue on here as well. Just like so. I haven't painted this part of the exhaust because we'll do that after. I only did this part because I want to glue the mesh on the top. Right, so let's get this. So it's roughly the same height as the other one. It probably would have been better if inside the armour I've put the sort of location bar on the back, the same as the plastic kit part, and then you'd have something to locate it. go up a touch, I think. There we go. That's those on, and they look so much better than the plastic parts, don't they, guys? Look at that, with the, you've got the little veins inside there. So I'm just going to stand this up against something, if I can. It's going to be difficult. I don't want them to be moved out of place. What I'll do when they're dry, I'll probably get some more and wick it along the bottom edge, just to let it capillary under. Go from there. Right, back. Okay, so moving along, they're glued on now. I put some in, like I said, and then mopped up the extra with a cotton bud. So they're looking lovely. I'm now moving on to the lights. Now I've done this spotlight on the roof. What I've done, I've painted these lights with the Molotov liquid chrome. Okay, this is a bottle. I got this from Hero Boy. You can actually get it in pens and dispense it. That's actually a bottle of the paint. So you can see they're painted with that, and it is a very, very nice chrome-like paint. And then what I'm going to do is glue these lenses in with micro crystal clear, which is basically PVA, I think. I've just got a piece of stretch sprue here. Going to use that as my applicator. And just put a couple of drops in here. Don't need too much, just to hold that lens in place. It's not under any load or anything. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to use my wax pencil just to pick up the lens. And I want to put it in and make sure, because it's got like a grid on it, I want to make sure the grid is perpendicular to the mount. Okay, so just going to try and turn that lens around a touch. There we go. That's got too much. There we go. And then just give it a squeeze with the tweezers. And you can see that lens is in there, and that effect on the light is pretty much square. Okay, you can see it on there, just like that. Okay, and I'll do the same on the other one, then I'll come straight back. Okay, so they've been on there a few minutes now, so we can basically get these off the sprue, just like so. I just had a look for, I suddenly had a feeling that the inside the armour edition set had headlights, but it doesn't. So it looks like we've got nice solid mounts for them as well, which is cool. So they're going to just glue into there. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. And then the fit is not that good, so we're going to have to glue these in and then position them when the glue goes tacky. I'll just put a drop in there first. And then, yeah, what's happening here is that is actually a hole through the side panel onto the chassis part. So what's happening there is the glue is wicking up around the side panel. So now what I'm not sure about is if these are supposed to be perpendicular to the sides, so i.e. angled down like that, or if they're supposed to be sort of straight and level. Let's have a look in here. There should be a front-on view in here, and you can't see them because the light guards have got them covered. Oh, great. Oh dear, dear, dear. I'm going to have a look at some reference back in a sec. Okay, yeah, looking at images, it looks like they are perpendicular to the side, so it looks like they've got like a sort of flat mount and they just bolt straight to the side. So I've got them pointing down at a slight angle. And then of course we've got the, where are they? We've got the plastic. Got hardly anything left in the box now. Where are they? Where are those little light guards? This is interesting viewing, isn't it? Watch with Nigel while he rummages through his box. Right, there we go. So we've got those light guards, and they're the plastic parts you can see, and they're absolutely horrible because they're solid. They're not even, you know, machined through, so they're absolutely solid. The inside the armour ones, as you can see here, are gorgeous, and they've also got the additional support that goes around the back of the light as well. So very, very nice indeed. The other thing I have noticed in the advert for this set, it says it has 4 of these mast bases, but it actually only has 3. So and there's 3 different styles there. So I think one is the Klansman folded over. I think that's the Larkspur, which I'll be using. So that's just going to pop onto the roof there in the middle. So there we go. Right. So I won't be using those, so those can go in the bin. I've also painted these, you can see the side light areas here. I've done those in the chrome, and on the back end I've done these in the chrome ready for some orange paint to go on them, and then we'll mask them before we spray the model. And then here I've painted the backs of these rear lights here. They're the lenses that go in the side lights at the front. I've painted the back of those in the chrome paint, so they'll get the red on them, and that'll just make it sort of more red rather than the what am I talking about? Than just having the green behind. Sorry about Dottie making a noise in the background. I've got some workmen working outside. Right outside my front gate there is a big rectangular manhole which City Fibers seem to be working around in every few days. So of course Dottie has to let them know that she's the boss. So there we go. There's the mud flaps that are going to go on the back. Like that, I believe. Or like that, is it? I'm not sure. But basically they're going to be replaced with 3D printed items. We've got this swimming vane which goes on the front. That's going to be replaced with 3D. We've got this single exhaust here which we're not going to use. You actually get this exhaust system in the 3D printed parts, but I've already drilled mine out, as you can see, and it's already fitted and painted, so I'm not going to be doing anything with that. I won't be using that exhaust on this one. So there we go. I wonder actually if he'll do anything about this canvas. Maybe he'll make new sides or something. Maybe he'll do a complete canvas. As you can see with the kit, this one's got the eyelets on, and there's no eyelets on this side at all, which is rather unfortunate. So, right, what's next? I guess I need to do a little bit of detail painting on those lights, let that dry and get them masked up. I'm tempted to mask these up before I glue the grills on, and hopefully I can get in there after and get the masking off. But let's have a look at that in a minute. Hang on. Okay, so now we can fit these little lights. I fitted these little lights to the back here. They're indicators. They're going to be painted in, or red, sorry. I can't remember which is indicators and which is lights. These front side lights, they're actually sided. What the back is flat and the front is domed, much like the rear light on a Hellman imp, if you know what I mean. So we need to make sure we put them in the right way round. So I'm going to get a drop of glue on here, just put a drop in the back there. Notice I'm not doing the other side, because if I get hung up on this side, then by the time I come to put the other light in, that glue will have started to dry and the light won't sit back in there nice and flat. So that's gone in there beautifully. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll just get the glue off of there. My bloody phone again. Okay, there we go. That was Kevin talking Fiat stuff. So there we go. I haven't glued that one in yet, so that's here. So I'm going to grab some glue and put that in there, and then drop that light in there, and there we go. That's that done. Okay, so there we are. That's that done. So we'll let that all dry, and then what I'll do is I'll put some clear orange and clear red on these lights or whatever. And then once all that's nice and dry, I'll give that a day or two. Then I can put some masking on there, and then we can spray the whole thing. Right, I'm going to call that a day for this one. It's been quite a quick one, but there's not really much else I can do until I get the rest of this inside the armour stuff, the mirrors and that, and then we can start looking at getting it all masked up and painted. All right, so I'll see you soon for part 14. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.